What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's analysis. We're going to be looking at MSTR today. We're just going to do a quick little update. It's going to be a shorter video than usual. So we've been running up our trend line like we spoke about, the bottom of this channel, looking very good. As you can see here, getting our bounce. Looks like this leg is starting to play out similar to this one. We have seen that rejection that we spoke about this downward sloping, or this Fibonacci to the downside. We're having plenty of resistance, a lot of trouble here. You can see it a lot easier when you take a look at the monthly. Granted, this is just temporary, but you can see the wick being built up top. The week didn't close as strong as we'd like, but that's okay. We made it up to the top and we pushed right back down. When you take a look at the SMAs here on the daily, on the 20, we're getting very close. We practically almost got a touch, and it actually bounced perfectly off of the bottom of this golden zone. And let's see if we end up getting a move up next week. Hopefully, we'll see how Bitcoin does over the weekend. Hopefully we get some kind of weekend pump or something going into the next week. That would be ideal, but we're still kind of just waiting. Bitcoin's kind of just trading sideways at the moment, so we'll see how things go. Overall, though, it's still looking very bullish. It's just a temporary setback and a little cool off period for us to take a breather before the next leg up. We did fall underneath our 20 moving average here on the 4 hour. As you can see, we tried pushing back above, we closed, and then we fell back underneath, but I don't think it's a big deal. On the daily Bollinger Bands, we kind of spoke about this prior, where we were saying in our bull trend, we're going to be hugging the red on the way up, and then on our pullbacks, we could potentially pull back to the blue like we've seen prior. We've seen this before. This is nothing new. As you can see, we go, pull back. We almost got close to the blue here, almost got close here. Here we practically almost touched it. So you can see that kind of happens in these bull trends. So I would kind of expect to continue seeing that for the remainder of this move as well. And then, of course, once we get our very exaggerated move, maybe we won't really touch the blue as often. But as we're stair stepping up, I would expect some kind of pullback to the blue Bollinger Band on the daily as we move up. On the RSI, we have fallen down to about 60 or so. We fell underneath our yellow moving average. Hopefully we can get a nice V-shaped recovery back up. This seems to be some kind of a key level that we have seen before. When you take a look at the horizontal level here, if you were to draw that out, we have seen this acting as support and resistance prior. So let's see if we get a bounce here and we can push up higher and break above this yellow moving average and back into overbought territory. We're kind of still in the same position here on the weekly MACD. At least we could have our 3 green candles that we've seen here. But let's see if we can slowly start to ramp up like we've seen here in this cycle. It was kind of, a parabolic move, as it was pretty steady on the way up, and then it just took that steep increase higher. So hopefully we see something like that. Maybe we'll see, over the next couple weeks, we see a move like this, and then we get a parabolic move up higher as we push up higher and move up to the blue and orange line here on the MACD. On the daily MACD, we have crossed back over or underneath the orange, as you can see here. So let's see if we get a cross back above, and let's see if we can get this red candle to flip back to green, and we can start having that momentum to the upside here for the next leg up. When we take a look here at Bitcoin, you can see we've been kind of creating a bull flag here, a mini bull flag, kind of been trending sideways. If we were to draw this out and measure it out, it takes us up to about 115 roughly. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe that's where the next leg takes us, hopefully even higher, ideally. But once we break above this level, things can start getting interesting, as there really are not many closes above this level that we have drawn out. We do have 2 closes above. We can actually probably just move the zone up higher. And if we were to put the zone right there, then any close above this zone would be the highest close that we've had on Bitcoin historically, which would be awesome. And that close would be, sitting at 106 or higher. So if we can see a daily close there, I think that's going to be extremely bullish, because we'd be closing within these top wicks here. And I think all-time highs will be in the snap of the finger at that point. So this is looking very bullish though. Trending sideways. We're not really dipping too hard. It seems like a lot of people are just kind of holding on or accumulating. So things are looking good. It looks like we got a little bit of resistance though, of course, as you would imagine. People are shorting at this level because some people are in disbelief. Some people believe that this is the high for the cycle. I don't think so. I think whoever thinks that is potentially going to be wrong, but we'll see. You never know. But overall, this is looking extremely bullish though. And we're trading in this range here. We have a mini range, of course, because it's a bull flag. And you can see that. We're just kind of just trending sideways. So hopefully we break above, get a nice close above this mini range. And then we want to see a close above the top of this range. So we're kind of working with two different things here. But I think you should see higher prices within, the next couple months. Hopefully we get a nice rally, throughout June and July. That would be a great scenario to play out, because I do think if we could hit, mid 150, 170 or something by the middle of the year, July or August, something like that, I think that sets us up for higher prices, maybe 250 or even higher, if we can see something like that in the middle of the year. Now, if we're sitting in August and we're only sitting at like 125, the odds of us really hitting those high numbers that people were talking about, I don't think it's very likely. But I think the odds do increase if we start rallying very soon. But we're going to go back to the same point that we spoke about, where we're saying, if you look here, maybe this is where price can take us. This is kind of what I'll leave you guys with again, where Bitcoin it runs off of cycles every 4 years. So the last year of the cycle was 1721. The last year right now is 2025. So as you can see, every 4 years, you got your peak every 4 years, and you got your bottoms every 4 years, 18, 2022, 2026. So if it plays out exactly like we've seen here, and it lines up exactly with the top of this channel, then you're talking about much higher prices that I personally will not be holding for. I will be on the sideline watching, but I will sell, at a good price that works for, my life specifically. Because for somebody else, it might not really make a difference for them, so they can hold for longer. But for me, if it makes, a difference in my life, then of course I'm gonna have to make a decision, that's best for me and my family. So it's not that, like, even if I sell, at 180 or something, it doesn't mean that I'm bearish and I don't think it's going to go any higher. It's just, if that's going to help me financially and put me in a good spot, then I have to do what I have to do, I can always wait till the next cycle, and maybe that cycle I could ride all the way up to where I think the top will be. But anyways, yeah, so if it plays out the exact same, we could see a top here in 2025, all the way at the top of this range. It would make sense, I'm not going to call for this, of course, and a bottom somewhere down there. Who knows, even if we fall outside of the zone temporarily. But I do think this crypto winter is going to be painful. Every 4 years you get these major moves, so I wouldn't doubt that we get another one here. I don't know if it's going to make it all the way up to the top, but we'll find out. And we have a bunch of indicators that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the monthly RSI sitting above 90. We're going to look at the pi cycle top. So we're going to be looking at a bunch of different things. We're actually going to be looking at the Coinbase ranking on the apps, on the App Store, see where it's ranking at. If it's ranking number 1, you definitely got to get out, because that's historically marked the top. So different things like that, which we'll be going over, but of course later in the cycle. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Like and subscribe, share with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next one.